Welcome to a new episode of the Design Your Success podcast, the podcast where human design and business meet. This is the first episode since a long time, and I would love to kick off with a very special episode where I introduce you to my top 10 favorite business books. Because many people ask me, like, oh, what are your favorite books? And not only about human design, but also about other topics. And I will walk you through my favorite 10 books. And of course, I'm going to start with this Bible, this baby, Human Design by Chetin Parkin. I don't know if I pronounce his name right, but what I do know about this guy is that he is a mechanical engineer by origin. He teaches human design already for 34 years or something. And that's just incredible. He created this book, and it has a very extensive description of the gates, of the channels, of the human design concept. Um, I find it quite technical sometimes, but it's like my Bible. As you can see, I have these little notes here. So I absolutely love this book. And when you really want to start looking into your design, I wouldn't recommend this book, but it is like a great follow-up because it's really going in depth. If you're new to it, then I would highly recommend this book by Karen Curry Parker. And this is uh, more or less the same description as Chetin Parker does, Chetan Parker, Parkin, sorry, does in his book. But this is, I would say, more easy to understand because Karen Curry Parker, she's a manifesting generator. I don't know about Chetan, what's his design. I don't know. I should have looked it up, of course. But I know Karen Curry Parker is a manifesting generator, and she is like a machine when it comes to content creation. But what I love about this book that it is like a manual, and it's like, clear descriptions on, okay, this is what it's about, this is where you can find it in the body graph, etc. So I absolutely love this book. This is when you are new to human design, I absolutely love this one. Then the next one, what I would love to talk about is this book. Robin Wynn has written this, and this is really about understanding your clients through human design. And again, this is what I do in book. Do you do it? This is what I do. I use those thingies, those notes, and I absolutely love this book because it's so practical in how you can work with your specific clients. The thing is, what she does is, I would say she focuses on generators, manifesting generators, projectors, etc. Um, but she's very clear on, okay, these are the gifts and these are the challenges. So this is a very good book if you want to start working with your clients on their human design or incorporate their human design into your work. So this is like a great book. She's really good. She has multiple books about profile lines, about centers, etc. So Robin Wynn, highly recommended. Um, of course, human design is all about energy. And I would be a lousy author if I wouldn't include my own book in this top 10. So, my own book, Aligned Energy, is a combination of a practical book and a journal. So the book is like giving you the information on how does your design work. So there, every element has a description, and whenever you order the book with me, I will give you little tag. So, those thingies that you can mark the pages with, and then you can mark what's applicable for you. And then in the second part, what you can do is write down in the book, write down what energizes you every day, what costs you energy, and then you can, rate your sleep, your healthy food, exercise, and the most important, I would say, the positive mindset, the mindset in general. So that is a daily check-in, and there are pages for every single day. And after each day, there is a weekly review. So you can start seeing patterns on, oh, but this is what energizes me. Oh, this is what's costing me energy. And when you do that consistently, it's going to be so much easier to manage your energy and to guard your energy, because especially generators, manifesting generators, guys, girls, our energy is our trademark. So let's make sure that we have our energy aligned and that we have this consistent energy going. Um, Speaking of energy, this is another of my favorites by Simon Alexander Ong, the book Energize. I got this book from my dear friend Natalie um, when I was recovering from COVID. And it was so eye-opening for me that this is all about, ways to get more energy, to, well, it says make the most of every moment. But this is exactly what it is, because it really recognizes that our energy is everything. And especially as business owners, but as professionals, as dads, moms, friends, lovers, our energy is everything. So this is a great book that describes various way to get energized. So highly recommend this book. Then going from energy, going to breathing. And this is the Dutch version, but James Nestor has written the book. I think it's called The New Way of Breathing or something. That's what it is. But this is the book that's all about breath. And basically, what he says is that in order to get more energy and to feel more energized, we need to be aware of the way we breathe, because we breathe very superficial. And what he shows, and he's a researcher, this guy is a scientist. So what he does is that he shows the difference between breathing, for instance, breathing through the nose or breathing through the mouth. And there is it's a significant change. So what I started doing after finishing this book, I started taping my mouth every single night. Before I go to sleep, before I go to bed, I tape my mouth. So I force myself to breathe through the nose. And the result, I sleep a lot better. I don't snore. Yes, ladies snore as well. And I just wake up much more energized and I really feel a lot better. And why is that? James Nestor describes that breathing through the nose helps you to improve the quality of your breathing. So, highly recommended this book. Now, when we look at our energy and the way we go through life, there may be things that block us, things that subconsciously block us. And a great book that I recommend is this one, The Dark Side of Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. And what it does and what it describes is, how do you sabotage yourself? How do you block yourself subconsciously? And what are those blocks? What are those dark sides? Because we love showing, the positive, the happy picture, like, oh, look at me, I'm all successful and I'm doing great. But not a lot of people talk about their shadow sides. And this is what this book is about. It's really highlighting our shadow sides, And when once you start shining light on the shadow, the shame and the darkness goes away because where there's light, there can be no shadow. So I absolutely love this book. It's not easy to read. It may be confronting at times because I was constantly wondering when I was reading this, like, oh my God, how does this shadow play out for me? And of course, we all have many shadows, but it's very enriching and it's always good to really look the beast in the eye. So, highly recommend it. Um, Looking at that, and so when your energy type, your human design, all of that, you start breathing right, you understand your shadows, then there is another thing that life can happen, and we may be triggered. And that's why I love this book by Marshall Goldsmith called Triggers. And the book is all about the things that trigger us and what that means. So, for instance, what triggers you to start promoting what you have to sell, or what triggers you to not do it. So understanding your triggers and understanding how that works in the brain, because Marshall Goldsmith is incredible at explaining how that works in the brain. And I took away so many great elements from this book that it's all about creating habits, and habits run great on triggers. So for me, a trigger, for instance, is to do my cold dips, because the trigger for me was struggling with menopause issues. And when I started doing the cold dips, the symptoms started to subside. And suddenly I felt a lot better, I slept a lot better, and I still do. So, this book, highly recommended, Triggers by Marshall Goldsmith. Then, so I created like a logical flow in this, in these 10 books. Um, then understanding your design, understanding your energy, the breathing, the dark side, the triggers, and then like, okay, how can you manifest? How can you create? Even though I hate the word manifest, but how can you create a great life for yourself and your loved ones? And that's where this book comes in. Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Um, Again, I don't like the word manifest, but what this does is basically gives you the insight that we are master creators. We create our own reality. And we have the power to create our own reality. We are powerful beyond measure. And that's what this book is basically about. And it shows you what you can do. It has very practical exercises and practices on what you can do to get alignment with what you want and how to actually create it or attract it. And that's what I love about this book, that it's so practical. People who know me know that I love being practical. I love structure. And this book is all about structure and being practical. But most of all, you could see the little thingies here as well. Um, Most of all, what this book gave me was the insight that whatever we create on the outside is a result of what's going on the inside. And I think that was the most powerful insight that I got from this book. And of course, the practical exercises. There is one exercise that I particularly like, which is called the placemat exercise, where you first create a list of all the things that you want and that you need to do. And then on a placemat, you write on the left-hand side, you write what you have to do. And on the right-hand side, you write down what the universe has to do for you. And by doing that little exercise, it's like I don't have to do anything. It's all I have to do, and all between air quotes, because it's simple but not easy. I need to keep the frequency of the thing that I want. So um, that's about this book. And then last but not least, and this is my most recent read, and I absolutely love it. And thank you, Paula, for recommending it. It's this book, Thoughtless Magic and Manifestations by Richard Dotts. And this is also about manifestations, even though I really don't like the word, but it's clear, it's clear what it's about. But this is also about the notion that we create our own reality. But what this explains is that instead of keeping our intentions and ideas in the head, in thoughts, in words, is that we start translating it to feelings, to frequencies, to non-verbal protocols, as he calls it. And what I absolutely love about this book is that for me, it was the missing piece of the puzzle because it was like I know the principles of manifesting. I know the whole frequency idea that we need to be in alignment with the right frequency. We need to have a high frequency within us in order to attract the right thing. The law of attraction stuff. I would say mainstream law of attraction stuff, but this is beyond mainstream law of attraction, because this is really about creation and that we are powerful creators in this world. And it shows us like how can you actually do it. And it's not by doing a lot of things, but it's so much more about being. It's not about doing, it's about being. And I think that was the most important takeaway from this book. So there we go. My top 10. I hope I gave you some inspiration. Let me know what your favorite books are, because I always love to be inspired and read new books. So let me know. Um, Drop me a note in the comments. Rate this episode if you loved it, if you got inspired. And I look forward to talking to you soon.